Hi everyone, it's Akunna from Greenlocks and welcome to another episode of Toolkit Tuesdays, where we provide you with the tools to help you live a life that is fulfilling and impactful. So today's episode is one I'm extremely passionate about and perhaps biased towards because it's something I wholeheartedly believe in. I've seen the effects it's had on others, but more importantly, how I've benefited from it. I can testify to its effectiveness and how it has significantly improved my life. The tool I'm referring to is this: accessing and leaning into a professional support structure. Yes, the next tool in your toolbox is to seek professional help when necessary, whether in the form of a coach, therapist, psychiatrist, or the like. Let me share with you all a story. So in 2016, I was at a point in my life where I felt very confused. I felt stuck, kind of like I was in a rut. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. It just felt like I was on the edge of something, but didn't know what that was. So one day I was sharing my feelings with my brother, Akunna, who I'm very close to. And I remember him saying to me, "Kunzi, have you thought of coaching?" And at the time I thought, what the heck is that? I had never heard of a life coach. I had no cooking clue what that was. So I decided to do some research and then decided to get myself a life coach. I can't tell you how that changed the trajectory of my career and ultimately my life. It had such a profound effect that I decided that this was the sort of work that I wanted to do. And so I went back to school for 2 years to study to become a certified integral coach. And like they say, the rest is history. Well, over the past couple of years, I've engaged with other modalities that have assisted in bringing out my potential, in helping me get a better perspective to move from stuck to unstuck, to build capabilities that bring about my awareness and allow me to self-correct and self-generate. I can't tell you how grateful I am for those opportunities because by accessing those professional support structures, they've aided me in living a life that is fulfilling and impactful. And so, it's important to lean on professionals who are equipped to help you dismantle limiting thought behavior. In my case, I hired a life coach who helped me work through the areas I felt stuck in and helped me to bring awareness about who I am, who I'd like to be, and the steps needed to get there. In addition, I had a therapist that I worked with to help heal some of the childhood trauma I'd experienced, which I wasn't even cognizant of and how it was showing up in my life. So I implore you, do not be ashamed to raise your hand and ask for the help you need. No one is perfect. Everyone needs help and support at some point in their life. It just reminds us that we're human. Seeking professional help when necessary can be beneficial. Now, the thing about this tool is that it requires something of us that sometimes we are afraid to show up as, which is to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable enough to say, hang on, I might actually need help as I'm struggling to deal with this or that. Because it requires one to be open, it requires us to expose parts of ourselves that we sometimes want to remain hidden. And I know some of you might say, well, I speak to my pastor or my priest or a friend or an older auntie who gives me great advice. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but there's a place and time for that. They're not always equipped to deal with certain issues, hence we have professionals. I always say, if you're physically hurt or experiencing some form of physical pain and discomfort, what do? You go and see a physician to diagnose and treat the problem. Similarly, if you don't feel mentally okay or you're struggling with something or feel stuck, you also need to seek out the appropriate professional for diagnosis and treatment. We all know that the pandemic has definitely highlighted the importance of mental health and wellness. A study conducted by the Human Sciences Research Council in 2020 reported that 33% of South Africans were depressed, while 45% were fearful and 29% were experiencing loneliness during the very first lockdown period. In an article published by the Kaiser Family Foundation, a study was shown that during the pandemic, about 4 in 10 adults in the US had reportedly symptoms of anxiety or depressive disorder. So we know that the mental health impact of COVID-19 is a global crisis. And so the idea of seeking professional support is no longer going to be a nice to have, but one of necessity if we want to thrive as a society. To be able to recognize that there are times when you might need to lean on others in a way that might leave you exposed can be nerve-wracking, to say the least. To be able to recognize that there are things you're unable to figure out on your own because there are things you just don't know and as such need help figuring out is a part of life. No woman or man is an island. Sometimes it's really about leaning into that guide so that they help you along. There's a quote by American motivational speaker Les Brown, which says, "Ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong." And those words have never been more true. So, like we do on all episodes in this series, we want to not just inform you and expand your knowledge, but more importantly, we want to empower you so you recognize the choice you have in living a life that is fulfilling and impactful. I'm sure for some of you, taking this step, it might be a bit nerve-wracking. You might be wondering and asking yourself, how do I know what professional assistance to seek? Should I get a coach or a therapist or a mentor? All valid feelings and questions. Well, let's help you get started by giving a brief explanation of what each modality offers. If you go on our website, we provide a free downloadable guide which helps you decide which professional assistance will best suit your needs. So if you head on over to greynox.com/Greynox Academy, you'll be able to download our quick guide. Today, I'm going to focus on the 3 common relationships that are often associated with what I've been speaking about, which are therapy, coaching, and mentorship. There are a lot more modalities, but today we'll be focusing on those 3. Firstly, the International Coaching Federation, which is the international body for coaching standards, ethics, practices, guidelines, etc., which I belong to, defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. In other words, it's really about unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. It is helping them to learn rather than teaching them. The first thing I need to stress is that as a coach, I do not provide advice. So if you're going to a coach to tell you what to do, that's not the job of a coach. Because coaching is really about helping you learn as opposed to teaching things to you. The job of a coach is to help you help yourself. That's my favorite motto. I help you, help yourself. In other words, I help you to unlock the answers for yourself. We will work together and design a program that would help you become unstuck in the areas that you would like to address. As a coach, I believe that you always have the answers to your own problems, but I understand that you might need help to find those answers, and that's where I come in. Coaching focuses on visioning success, moving from the present into the future. We step into the past just for context, but we don't stay there for that long. We're trying to move you from point A to point B. Some issues that people bring for coaching include career stuckness, lack of self-confidence, managing conflict, changing careers, transitioning, communicating better, managing emotions, setting boundaries, accountability, etc., just to name a few. I hope that helps you understand what coaching is. Therapy, on the other hand, emphasizes psychopathology, emotions, and the past in order to understand the present. Psychotherapy or talk therapy is a way to help people with a broad variety of mental illnesses and emotional difficulties. It can help eliminate or control troubling symptoms so a person can function better and can increase well-being and healing. The purpose of therapy often dives into deep-seated emotional issues to work on personal healing or trauma recovery. If I were to offer an analogy to explain the functions and purpose of each modalities, it's something like this. A coach is like a basketball trainer, while a therapist is like a medical doctor specializing in sports medicine. Both draw from a shared body of knowledge that includes anatomy, nutrition, and the like. However, the basketball coach works from the assumption that the athlete is essentially sound in body and is focused on improving fitness and performance. The coach will refer the athlete to the team doctor if there is reason to believe he or she has an injury. Hope that makes sense. Similarly, coaches and therapists work with the same material but with different skill sets and to different ends. A coach may explore the past, family life, or emotions of their client in the service of understanding the client's origin stories to understand the present, but with a future-oriented state as the end goal. Now, mentoring, on the other hand, focuses on development through expert guidance. So usually, a mentor is someone who is skilled in a particular area of interest that one is trying to build and develop. Your coach, however, does not have to be an expert in that particular area in order to assist you, because we're not there to give advice. We work with you through deep questioning and listening to help you gain perspective and widen your lens to see things differently. Whereas a mentor is someone who shares their knowledge, skills, and or experience to help another to develop and grow. Hope that also makes sense to you, so you get an understanding of the three modalities. Well, for me, I've had mentors as well, and they've had a purpose in my developmental journey, but it's been very different from my coach. My coach was there to help me build self-awareness so that I'm able to self-correct and self-generate. I know this was a brief introduction into the different modalities. Like I mentioned, you can access the guide on our website to help you get a deeper understanding of each modality and when to choose which particular professional for assistance. You can access it at greenlocks.com/Greenlocks Academy. As always, I'd love to hear from you. What has been your experience with either coaching, therapy, or mentorship? What did it open up for you? How did it aid you in living a life that is fulfilling and impactful? As always, please leave your comments and questions in the comment section below or send it to info@greenlocks.com. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Toolkit Tuesday. Remember, you are worthy of a life that is fulfilling and impactful. Until next time, take care.